So in today's drum and bass tutorial, we're looking at how to create dub effects. We're going to use Vital in order to do this. This is one of the most common influences in drum and bass, dub, reggae style sounds. So we're going to be focusing today on how to make those classic dubby effects. So here we go, let's open up Vital. So here we have Vital. We're going to go to basic shapes and we're going to select that. We're going to put the phase down to 0 so it all starts at the same place. And let's go with a square wave for this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to mimic this sort of shape here in the LFO. And this is really common in dub as well, that you use these shapes to kind of modulate things. In most cases, that would probably be your pitch. This is really common in the dub effects. So that's exactly what we're going to do now, is we're going to go into the matrix and we're going to assign this LFO1 to the pitch. So we go to LFO1 as our source, and in the destination, we go to global, and we choose to transpose. The voice transpose is the pitch, basically. And this is going to now be set to the global pitch. We've still got nothing yet because we haven't put the amount on. We need to put the amount. Once we add an amount, we start to get some modulation with this and the pitch. So let's just go to the amount, right click, press enter value, 12 ST for semitones. That's a whole octave. Now we get this. You think, okay, pretty crazy. What we're going to do is we put this up to 1/8, and we're also going to play with the shape because we want it to be a bit plucky. So let's bring the sustain down, release up a bit, around here somewhere. We could bring the decay around here somewhere. And you can hear we've got a classic kind of dub sound. Nice and easy, right? You could then go and treat this in the effects. You could put some distortion on it, some reverb on it, with a filter to tame any highs, etc. if you wanted to put some compressor, etc. on it. So I'll leave that up to you guys, but that's the way to get to the basic sound here. We've now got a classic dubby sort of sound. You could do 1/16 and you get a sound like that, which is also kind of classic. And we could go into the shapes now, like I said, and we could start playing around with the shapes. So if you went to like a sine wave, you get a slightly different vibe, right? And if we play with this shape here, we could just create a sine wave shape in here. Something like this. We get this more wobbly sound now. We can now play with the shapes again. So that depending on what shape you use, you're going to get slightly different vibes. We could now come away from this and let's try and copy that shape there again. So we go for the triangle up and down sort of shape like this. And we get sounds like that. Remember to play with the speed as well. And you kind of get sounds like that. So it's all about playing with these shapes here and here, mimicking these shapes. You don't always have to mimic the exact same shape as the wavetable you're using. Like you could use this shape on like a triangle like this, and you get that. This up and down one is a classic, as you can hear. Make it quicker. There we go. There's one more dub sound we can make as well, which is another classic one. So we're going to turn off the oscillator one here, and we're going to use the white noise for this sound. I've done this sound briefly before, and this is an air horn sound, but as we're on the topic of dub effects for today, we're going to see how to make this sound as well. And this is another classic drum and bass sound, and reggae sort of sound, clashy sort of sound. So we'll turn the level down. We're going to use the envelope and we're going to use the LFO here. Now, LFO, something like this. And make sure it's in envelope mode as well. Now, let's just go and turn on the filter. Let's just set up the filter so it looks something like this to start with. And we're going to set the envelope to the level here, to about there somewhere. So that's our white noise coming through like that. The next thing we want to do is we want to turn on the key tracking. This is important because we want to be able to move this sound up and down, as I'll explain to you in a minute. But for the moment, let's just turn that up. So as we play along the keyboard, this filter will move according to the pitch. Make sure your sampler is switched on going through this filter as well. So that will now give us this. So you can see it's got rid of a lot of the frequencies in there. Let's also go to the type of filter, and this is important. So we're going to use the comb, and we're going to use the low high comb in order to achieve this sound. We can turn the cut up as well, that doesn't make much difference. So you can see as I play up the keyboard, this filter position moves up. And that's because of this key tracking. But to get the air horn sound, what we need to do is kind of create that classic kind of down sort of movement. And to do that, we go to the key tracking here and we set this LFO to the key tracking around right here somewhere. And you can see we start to get there. In order to tune this, I would put the macro on here. So it just allows you to kind of move it about. So you can see we're pretty close there now with that sound. And just to finish it off, you would just go into the effects. You could put a bit compressor, take the lows off, boost this up a bit, move this a bit. Put a bit of delay to thicken it up. So just go to stereo, like put this on 16 for example, and this one on 16. Turn this down a bit. We could then go to the filter just to tame it a little bit. It's not necessary, but it kind of adds a little bit of extra oomph to it. Oh, I would put the envelope to this as well. And then a bit of reverb just to finish it off. Bring the lows down, take the low cut off as well, not that far down there. Turn the volume up a bit. And there you go. You see we got pretty close to an air horn. You could fiddle around with this tuning a little bit if you wanted to, like move it about a bit. So that's how you get to that classic kind of air horn sound. So today's been all about those reggae dub vibes that you hear really commonly in drum and bass. It's a massive influence in drum and bass. It has been since the very beginning. And here's how you can create a few of those type of sounds. So don't be afraid to experiment with the pitches, the modulation types as well. All of those things are going to be really, really useful to get you some classic kind of reggae dub effects. For a really simple kind of like effect, you could just go into the delay and then get like little things like that, really simple. Change the thing. Classic. So just to recap this whole process, remember different shapes will give you slightly different tonalities to your sound. Use the basic shapes. It's a classic for dub effects. You can then mimic these shapes in here with the modulation. You could use this one. We didn't use this shape, but you could also use this shape. It's a classic as well. Get this sort of police siren style things and change the speed of the LFO as well. That's going to give you different results. And remember that inside of the matrix, you set the pitch amount as well. The amount that you set the pitch will also start giving you some different results as well. So I hope this one was useful for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.